Hi, I'm Kat and this is 10 minutes long, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about food planning. This is like maybe the second video I think I've done in my new place. I'm really not loving the lighting situation, so please forgive me. It's Sunday, it's been another hell of a week, and yeah, I'm due to kind of like have a shower and just get myself ready for Monday soon, so that's why I look awful, but these things come in time, I suppose. But anyway, today I'm talking about food planning. So what's been really nice is that since I've moved, nothing has felt normal at all. But it came time, like it fell time for me to do my food planning again, and it was quite nice to do that and to be like, no, this is a normal thing that I do, and my food plan is now ready. And the reason I'm talking about it is because there are pros and cons to it, and because there are some tips that I think I can share. So my food plan spans a month, so I plan a month at a time. The pro of this is that I only have to think about what to eat 12 times a year, because like each month I do it and it's like, right, that's another month planned out. And I really enjoy that. I like removing decisions from my life because I find that they just take up a lot of time. Also, it makes shopping a lot more efficient. So when I do my shopping each week, I know exactly what I need, and it reduces waste as well. So, for instance, if I'm going to make something with peppers, I might make something else with peppers later in the week to make sure that I've got a chance to use up anything that I don't use. And I also freeze a lot of bits as well. So, like if I'm making a soup for the freezer and it requires celery, I'll freeze the rest of the celery that I don't use when I buy it. So it saves money and it's more efficient in terms of food waste. Like I don't like wasting food at all. And it helps to plan things out like that. Another thing I find it helps with is that, like when I batch cook, it helps me to see like how many batches of each thing I've got left and when I should next do a batch cook, and it really helps to like organize your life around those sorts of things. So those are pros of it, I think, definitely for me anyway. Cons of it, I guess, would be that it's kind of inflexible. So if you're planning like a month at a time, you know, for me it's like I really like routine. It's a whole thing. I like routine and I hate when my routine gets disruptive. So if my food plan says I'm eating spaghetti today, I'm eating spaghetti today. It doesn't matter whether I fancy it or not. That is the food. But I find myself just looking forward to it. So there's always going to be things on my list that I'm like, oh, I'm not really fancying that today, but tomorrow I've got spaghetti which I'm really looking forward to. So like that's the way I tend to do it in my head, but it might not work the same for everybody. Because I know that my partner would hate that. For him it's very much like he'll eat what he sort of fancies on the day, and I think he would really struggle with any kind of like food plan for any length of time. So it's different for everybody. So I suppose that could be a con of it, that it's a bit inflexible. Having said that though, like if I want a takeaway or something like that, I can always find gaps. I can always create gaps in my schedule, especially if it's like a day when I've got one of my, like if I've got like 3 portions of soup in the freezer and I plan to eat one of those during the week, like I can swap that out with something because I know the soup can stay in the freezer, so it's not always just fresh stuff. So yeah, I think that's a con of it. And I think it does take me about maybe 30 or 40 minutes to sit down and properly think out a plan. My voice has gone all scratchy. I think the air's a bit dry in here. Thank God for cups of tea. Excuse me. So yeah, it does take me about 30 or 40 minutes to plan it out, and some people might find that a little bit intimidating. So my tips are to start small. It's just like I said with the goals video, and if you haven't seen that, I've linked it down in the description. Go and check it out, because a lot of the advice that I give on there for setting goals is very similar for food planning. You wouldn't have thought there was tons of crossover, but there is. Basically, like, start small and don't overwhelm yourself. I'm trying to get my mate into food planning, and like what I've said to her is just like plan a week at a time. Like start off with a week, and if you can't do that, maybe just plan from one shop to the next. Just plan that when you go shopping you're going to buy these things and that's when you're going to eat them, and just stick to that plan and just see how it goes for you. But start small and just reflect. And you know, if you start small and you plan yourself a week and then you don't manage to stick to it, like honestly sit down and ask yourself why. Like, what happened that caused you not to stick to it? Can you change that? Can you remove any of those barriers that were in place? You know, and don't be too harsh on yourself either. It's like I said, when I plan a month, if I decide that I'm going to have takeaway or something like that as a treat, then you know, I can just rearrange my food plan. And like for me, I know that there are points within the plan that I can rearrange without causing extra waste or, you know, things like that. So I think that's it really. Don't be too harsh on yourself. I'll show you my food plan because I use this excellent like dry white board that is, it's magnetic. Whoops, it was written on before I threw it on myself. It's magnetic, so it sticks on the fridge, and oh my god, that's like gross. I can see how dirty that is. I need to wash. Look at that. It's from when it's been moved. Anyway, so this is my food plan. I've planned out a month at a time, but you can, you know, obviously plan it out however long you want on a board like this. I think I got it on Amazon because it's hard to find anywhere else. I don't really endorse shopping on Amazon unless you can help it. And then each month I just sit down with a dry white pen, and then throughout the week I like cross it off if I've had that thing. Today we're here on Sunday, but I've not put crosses on. I don't put crosses on at the weekend. I just do it on a Monday because I like the week to go faster than the weekend, and if I'm crossing stuff off I feel like it's going faster. But enough about my weird psychology. So here you can see that I've everything that I've planned out for the month. And what I tend to do is throughout the start of the week I plan things that I've meal prepped already, and then I'll put like a thing underneath to say how many of them I've got left. So like this one is dal, and that's like 1 of 3, so I'll actually be making dal on that day. But you can see there like enchilada orzo, 4 of 4, so that's like the 4th batch of that I've got, and there was the 3rd one, and then the 2nd one was over there somewhere. So what I tend to do is try and eat anything that I've batch cooked throughout the week, because then when I finish work I know it's really easy, and that helps me to stick to the plan as well. Because you know, I finish work, chuck it in the microwave, 2 minutes later food's ready. So that helps you stick to the plan because you know that like it's just so easy, and after a full day in work you don't want to be stood there cooking generally. So there's that. And then on Saturdays I tend to do my batch cooking, so you can see there I've planned to make parsnip soup or some kind of soup there. Pineapple fried rice is a new recipe that I'm trying out there. Aloo gobi tray bake, that's a new recipe that I'm trying out. So that's tends to be what I do. I tend to go like batch cook, new recipe, batch cook, new recipe. That's what I tend to do. But I'm slightly behind on that this month, so it's a little bit all over the place. And another reason why it's good to plan out like this is because if there are, like I say, things that you're cooking where you might have bits left over, it's good to plan for another day. So for instance, my husband doesn't like spaghetti, so when I do spaghetti I use a big jar and then I split it over 2 days. So that means that if I do spaghetti for myself, then I need to do it again within another week to use up that sauce. So you'll find that like if I've got spaghetti in here somewhere there, there will either be spaghetti or roast peppers, and there's roast peppers there, which is where I'll be using up the end of that sauce. So that's another reason why it's good to use something like this for food planning. This sticks on my fridge, and then throughout the week I can always see what I'm planning to have. I can look forward to the things that are on the list, and to me it just never factors in that I can eat something that's not on this list. That's just the way my brain works. It might be different for you, but yeah, it's a great system. I think it works really well. Since I've been doing it, I've had like almost no food waste at all, and if there is food waste, it's just like because you know I've forgotten to use half an onion, or I've forgotten to freeze it, or but it's rare. It's really rare now for me to have any kind of food waste at all. And I've been doing this for about a year, but I didn't start off doing a month at a time. I started off doing just a couple of days at a time. And now just like a month at a time just feels really normal to me, and I kind of don't like it if I don't have a plan. So yeah, those are my thoughts and tips and advice on food planning. Definitely worth giving it a try if it's not something you've done before. And that's it for the video. As if I managed to keep that to 10 minutes with all my rambling. Anyway, see you next time.